So today I'm coming to you pre-recorded, not as a live because I'm on vacation. And so I wanted to be as fully present with my kids and my mom and siblings as possible. And so I decided to just record this so that you still get the content, you still get the information. But if you have any questions, I'll still be online. I'll be posting pictures and stuff. So, let me know. This can still be a conversation. And I just like always, I'm going to repurpose it, and you might be listening to this via my podcast, which is also very cool. And if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email. Or come over to the Facebook group. If you're new to Moms Without Capes and you haven't joined my Facebook group, what are you waiting for? Come join the fun. So we've got some things coming up in September. We've got the Self-Care Challenge, which will be happening on September 19th. It runs for 5 days, and this is your opportunity to learn what fills your cup and how to make time for it. And then I'm also starting a book club. I'm going to do it again. I've tried it a few times before. This time it looks like there's quite a few of you that are interested. And so our first book, it looks like it's going to be by Glennon Doyle, Untamed. I was like, my mind went blank as to what the title was. But that seems to be winning the vote. If you haven't voted already, go ahead and vote. I had a few of you say that you didn't want to commit to a certain time, but still vote, because if we're going to do 6 books. I figure we'll just do it through the school year. That's when some of us, our time opens up a little bit and we're able to read some more. And we'll focus on 6 different books, meet once a month or once every 5 weeks. We'll discuss it at our first book meeting. But yeah, I'd love to hear your ideas. And you can always jump in. You don't have to commit to reading all 6 books. You can jump in. I will let everybody in the group know. I'll put some posts out there. If you're on my email list, you will get emails about it. It'll be included in my weekly newsletter. If you're not on my email list and you want to be, so that you can know what's going on in and around the Moms Without Capes community, shoot me a Facebook message. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me, and let me know that you want to be on my email list. But I will be putting out in my email list and in the Facebook group and varying posts, I will be putting what books we'll be reading. So that way, if you don't want to read all 6 of them, you could always jump in and join us for one of the books. All right, so today we'll be talking about endorsing yourself. And what this means is accepting your fallibilities, your limitations, your humanness without apology, as an innate and acceptable part of you. Like, that self-acceptance is huge. And so many of us look at our weaknesses as, as weaknesses, but like as holding you back. And I want you to, in order to love yourself, you have to learn how to embrace yourself. And that's what this I was going to say Facebook Live, but that's what, this is about today. This episode is about today, is about accepting yourself and embracing yourself for who you are, for all of your humanness, for your imperfections and your weaknesses and your infallibilities, as well as, of course, your strengths and what makes you, you. All of that, the good, the bad, the pretty and the ugly, like all of it. That doesn't sound like the right saying, but all of it together is you in a nutshell. Like, that is what makes you unique and what makes you you. So learning how to accept you and all of you is the key here. Accepting yourself as a woman who has preferences that you don't need to defend. You can put out your opinions and your thoughts freely. In a couple weeks, we're going to talk about how to share your feelings, because so many of you struggle with just expressing how you feel, because half the time you don't even know how it is you feel. But knowing that you can have preferences, right? We get away from that sacrifice mentality, thinking that you have to put your own likes and dislikes on the back burner for in lieu of like your family or your kids. And you don't. Your kids need to know who you are. You were given your kids for a reason, right? Like whether you believe in God or a creator, like however you believe that you landed up on this earth, you landed up on this earth with the children you have on purpose. And your children are meant to know you, not for you to put your own likes and dislikes on the back burner. And you have to know that you know, you might not even know what kind of ice cream you like. It's been more recently that I was like, you know what? I don't like cookies and cream. My family like loves that. And it took like, for years I just bared it. I just ate it. Not even like stopping and taking the time to notice, like, I don't really even like chocolate. I don't like Oreo cookies in ice cream. Like, it's just not mine, right? So knowing and recognizing that you are allowed to have your own preferences. It's part of endorsing yourself and part of embracing who you are. Accrediting yourself for your strengths rather than diminishing yourself for the limitations or for the growth not yet received. And what I mean by that is, learning how to accept compliments, not apologies. Learning how to accept compliments instead of just kind of dismissing that, and instead embracing that and saying, you're right, giving yourself that credit. Just fully loving yourself, affirming yourself. 75% of what you say to yourself is negative, counterproductive, or critical. And we need to learn how to turn those negative voices, that negativity bias, into positive or into affirming thoughts. And that's where my Quiet Your Inner Mean Girl program comes in, because that's exactly what we dig into. And I help you transform your inner critic into your biggest cheerleader, because we look at those negative thoughts, the self-doubts, those thoughts that are not serving you, and we start challenging those thoughts. And when you're doing that, you're shifting your self-beliefs. And that's where the magic happens. When you start shifting your self-beliefs and start loving yourself and telling yourself affirming thoughts, you're going to, you can't be held back at that point. Becoming an observer of your thoughts. When we are so busy with doing all of the things, when your to-do list is a mile long, you don't have the time or the space or the energy to even hear your own thoughts. And that's so important, giving yourself that space to hear your own thoughts, to observe what it is that you're thinking, because only then can you challenge those thoughts. And then give yourself credit for when you do have thoughts that serve you. Some affirming behaviors are giving yourself that approval, right? Giving yourself credit for a job well done. Oh. There's my phone. Let me silence my phone. I forgot that. Talking to yourself with affection and self-compassion, treating yourself with compassion. In September, we'll be doing the self-care challenge, and that's where you'll get a taste of treating yourself with compassion, doing things that are going to refuel you and recharge you, putting yourself on your to-do list. Treating yourself as a priority, because we know you're important, right? But many times you get pushed to the back burner and you don't treat yourself like you're important. And so learning how to treat yourself with compassion and talking to yourself with kindness, it's huge. Trusting your intuition, that gut feeling. I've done some podcast episodes. I did an interview with Steph Zito all about intuition. I forget the number of it, but I will throw that in the show notes, and I'll put that in the comment section if you're watching this through in my group. And check that out, because she talks to us about getting back in touch with our intuition and learning how to trust ourselves. But that's a way to embrace yourself, to endorse yourself, which is the title of this whole episode today. Forgiving yourself. Self-forgiveness is huge. I've done episodes and Facebook Lives all about this, because it's a big part of learning how to love yourself, is learning how to let go of any resentment that you may hold towards others, and especially towards yourself. Engaging in fun. Learning how to get the joy out of life, like find joy in life. Not just find it, but create joy, joyful moments. and making sure that you are regularly engaging in fun. And that may mean that you have to be intentional about it. The fun isn't just going to happen, because when you are worried about so much stuff and you're concerned and preoccupied with making sure that you are checking off your to-do list, fun often falls off. And so getting back in touch and being intentional with incorporating or implementing joyful moments into your life, it'll make a difference, I promise. Taking responsibility for yourself instead of passing blame or playing victim, making sure that you are taking responsibility for yourself and your actions. Taking pride in your body, which means, maybe that means putting on makeup. Or this month, we're doing a Banish Clutter boot camp. And today, actually, at the time of this recording, we are focusing on our closets and just clearing out, just decluttering, taking pride in your environment and taking pride in how you look. That negative self-talk, right? When you're trying on outfits and they're not fitting, instead of crying and getting all upset, like learning how to turn that around so that you can treat yourself with kindness and not be so harsh on yourself. But taking the time to get a shower every day, doing what you need to do. And that might mean you have to work with a coach in order to help you find that space in your day and set up some boundaries, build a support system, to be able to make that space for yourself, because you are a priority and you need to treat yourself like a priority. And that, taking pride in your body and the way you look and being grateful. Giving yourself permission to pursue your dreams instead of putting your dreams on hold and saying, oh, when my kid's 18, then I'll be able to go on that trip or learn that hobby or build that business or whatever it is that you're dreaming about. Instead of putting that on hold, making that work for you today, because that's going to bring you joy. That's going to bring you purpose outside of your role as a mom. Surrounding yourself with people who build you up is so important, and removing yourself from toxic people, from toxic relationships. Stepping into your adulthood and saying, I can choose who I want to build these relationships with, and surrounding yourself with those people that are going to build you up instead of tear you down. And then getting to know yourself. Journaling has been such a wonderful tool to help me do this. It gives me, it is an intentional space where I can hear myself think. I can get back in touch. I can do write about my dreams, write about my goals, write about what was going on yesterday. I can bring all of that chatter happening in my mind and put it in black and white and start making sense of it. And by doing that, it's a great tool. I say it was, but I still do it. I still do it every day as a way of that self-discovery piece and get back in touch with reclaiming myself. Be fully you. That's the whole thing, right? Just be fully you and release that sacrifice mentality, because you were meant to be you and fully you. Not putting you on the back burner, not putting you, I'll do my life in 18 years when my youngest gets older, right? No, that's not how it's going to work. It's not going to work, because then that's just that quick road to burnout. You feel resentment, you feel anger, you feel stress. I'm telling you, it is so important to make sure that you are putting yourself on your to-do list, prioritizing yourself, and making the space for you. You are fully 100% responsible for you. Nobody else is going to take care of you as much as you need to take care of you. So that's it. If you're interested in my Mean Girl, Quiet Your Inner Mean Girl program, I will throw the link to that. It's momswithoutcapes.com/mean-girl. And I'll throw the link to that in today's show notes. I will put it in the description of this video. Since it's pre-recording, I'm like, how will I get that in the comments? Remember to put it in the comments when this gets dropped. So I'll put it in the description of this video. And if you have any questions about it, again, the best way to reach out to me is through Facebook Messenger. So just just message me any questions you have about that. If you're even somewhat interested and you are on the fence about it, reach out to me. I don't know unless you reach out to me. So that's it. I hope that you all have a great week. I'll see you inside the group. Take care, and I'll see you next week.